For millennia, humanity has gazed upon the stars, pondering our place in the vast cosmic tapestry. We have looked back at our own history, piecing together the fragmented echoes of forgotten civilizations, striving to understand the journey that led us from the primordial dust to the builders of empires. But what if the story we tell ourselves, the meticulously constructed narrative of human progress and isolation, is incomplete? What if, embedded within the oldest artistic expressions of our ancestors, lies a truth far more profound, far more unsettling than anything conventional archaeology dares to contemplate? Imagine a time when the world was raw, untamed, when our distant forebears, armed with rudimentary tools and an insatiable curiosity, first began to render their perceptions onto stone and cave walls. These are not merely decorative markings, they are windows into a consciousness long extinguished, records of experiences that transcend the mundane, whispers from a past that defy our modern understanding. Could these ancient glyphs and pigments, preserved against the ravages of 10,000 years or more, be more than mere mythological fantasy or symbolic representation? Could they be eyewitness accounts, indelible testimonies of encounters with beings from beyond our world? This is not a question posed lightly, nor is it born of idle speculation. It is a question compelled by the stark, undeniable evidence etched into the very bedrock of our planet and painted within the deepest recesses of ancient shelters. Across continents, separated by oceans and eons, distinct cultures with no conceivable contact depicted figures and objects that appear utterly incongruous with their known technological capabilities and societal structures. These are not simply stylized humans or animals. They are enigmatic entities, adorned with what appear to be sophisticated suits, helmets, and strange apparatus, often depicted interacting with celestial phenomena or vehicles that resemble nothing found in the earthly realm of their time. The official narrative, championed by established science, attributes these portrayals to primitive imagination, to religious ecstasy, to the interpretations of dreams, or to masked shamans. Yet, this explanation, while convenient, often rings hollow when confronted with the startling specificity and recurring motifs found across geographically disparate sites. It struggles to reconcile the sheer consistency of these unusual depictions with the supposed limitations of early human thought. For if these were merely products of fantasy, why do they so often converge on similar forms and themes, suggesting a common wellspring of inspiration that transcends local folklore? We are asked to believe that hunter-gatherers living in caves and subsisting on the bounty of the land independently conceived of flying craft, of beings encased in pressurized suits, of intricate machines and symbols that mirror our most advanced scientific concepts. Is it not more logical, more intellectually honest, to consider the possibility that these artists were not fabricating fantastical beasts, but meticulously documenting what they saw, what they experienced, what they revered, and what they perhaps feared? That they were, in essence, chroniclers of an interaction that has been systematically expunged from our collective memory, yet preserved in stone. Consider the remote plateaus of the Sahara Desert, a landscape of stark beauty and unforgiving desolation. Here, in what is now Algeria, lies Tassili Najjer, a vast sandstone massif riddled with an astonishing collection of prehistoric rock art. Discovered in the late 19th and early 20th centuries and meticulously cataloged by Henri Lotte and his team in the 1950s, this site represents one of the largest and most significant open-air art galleries in the world. Its thousands of paintings and engravings span a period from roughly 12,000 BCE to the 1st centuries CE, providing an unparalleled visual chronicle of life in a region that was once lush and fertile, teeming with wildlife. Among the myriad depictions of elephants, giraffes, rhinoceroses, and scenes of daily life, there are figures that dramatically diverge from the expected repertoire of prehistoric art. These are the so-called round-head figures, dating back to the earliest phases of Tassili art between 10,000 and 8,000 BCE. They are colossal, often several meters tall, and their most striking feature is their heads, perfectly circular, often featureless, sometimes adorned with what appear to be antennae or helmets. Their bodies are similarly unusual, depicted in strange, almost weightless poses, occasionally with what seem to be transparent suits or complex garments. One particular painting, known as the Great Martian God, or the Great God with Round Head, stands as a powerful testament to this enigma. This monumental figure, approximately 3 meters in height, dominates the rock face. Its head is a perfect, featureless orb. Its body is draped in a pattern that could be interpreted as a spacesuit, complete with what appears to be tubing or cables running along the limbs. Surrounding it are smaller, similar figures, some seemingly floating, others engaged in activities that are equally difficult to reconcile with conventional interpretations of prehistoric human behavior. Are we truly to believe that a hunter-gatherer society over 10 millennia ago independently conceived of beings with helmet-like heads and pressure suits? The official archaeological view suggests these figures represent masked shamans engaged in ritualistic practices, their oversized heads symbolizing spiritual power or altered states of consciousness. The circular forms are explained as elaborate headdresses made from plant materials or woven fabrics. Yet, this explanation struggles to account for the remarkable uniformity of these helmets across different depictions and their stark contrast with other, clearly identifiable human figures in the same periods who are depicted with recognizable facial features and human proportions. Furthermore, the overall aesthetic, the sense of otherworldliness and technological sophistication, challenges the idea of mere symbolic representation. There is a precision, an intentionality in these renderings that speaks not of abstract symbolism, but of an attempt to accurately record something extraordinary. Consider the White Lady of Tassili, another enigmatic figure. While often interpreted as a shaman or a goddess, her attire and the peculiar details surrounding her raise questions. She is depicted with intricate patterns on her body, perhaps body paint, but also with what appear to be tight-fitting garments. Around her, smaller figures seem to float or dance, their forms equally ambiguous. Could these not be stylized representations of advanced beings in sophisticated clothing, perhaps even reflecting materials unknown to their terrestrial counterparts? The sheer scale and number of these unusual figures within the Tassili complex demand a more comprehensive explanation than simple ritualistic masks or dream imagery. The sheer age of these Tassili Niger artworks is also a critical factor. Dating back over 10,000 years, they predate the accepted timeline for advanced human civilization by thousands of years. They were created at a time when humanity was still largely nomadic, living in small tribal groups, focused on survival in a changing environment. The intellectual leap required to conceptualize and consistently depict such sophisticated imagery, if it were purely fantasy, is staggering. It implies a collective conscious understanding of concepts that, in our timeline, only emerged with modern scientific and technological advancements. Or, alternatively, it implies direct observation. Moving from the arid expanses of the Sahara to the rugged valleys of the Italian Alps, we encounter another equally compelling collection of ancient rock art. Val Camonica, a glacial valley in Lombardy, Italy, boasts one of the largest ensembles of prehistoric petroglyphs in the world, with over 300,000 etchings spread across its rocky surfaces. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, these engravings span approximately 8,000 years, from the Upper Paleolithic to the Iron Age, depicting scenes of daily life, hunting, agriculture, warfare, and ritual. Within this vast gallery, however, lie a series of images that stand in stark contrast to the more conventional portrayals. Dating from the Copper Age, roughly 3000 to 2000 BCE, are figures that have come to be known as Communion Rose or Rosetta Stone figures, but more strikingly, the so-called astronauts, or divinities with horned helmets. These anthropomorphic figures, often depicted with large circular or oval heads, sometimes featuring prominent eyes or apertures, wear what appear to be complex patterned suits. Some are shown holding unusual instruments or gesturing in ways that seem ritualistic, yet also strangely technical. One of the most famous examples, often referred to as the god of the sun or the astronaut, shows a figure with a distinct round head from which rays or lines emanate, suggesting either a halo or some form of energy projection. The body is encased in a patterned suit, and the figure holds an object that could be interpreted as a tool or a weapon. Surrounding this figure are geometric patterns that defy simple interpretation as natural phenomena. If this is merely a depiction of a human shaman or a god from local mythology, why the consistent portrayal of features that so strikingly resemble modern protective gear or spacesuits? Archaeologists often explain these figures as stylized deities or powerful shamans, their exaggerated features symbolic of their supernatural status. The helmets are described as elaborate headdresses, perhaps made of animal horns or ceremonial garments. The geometric patterns are considered abstract symbols or astrological representations. Yet, the same question persists. Why this particular aesthetic? Why the consistent roundness of the heads, the suggestion of contained environments, the lack of conventional human facial features within these supposed helmets? And why do similar forms appear in geographically and culturally distant locations? Consider the sheer scale of the detail in some of these communion figures. They are not crude sketches, but deliberate, carefully executed engravings. The patterns on their suits are intricate, almost textile-like, suggesting a material quality. The implements they hold are often geometric and precise, not organic or primitive. If these were simply human figures in elaborate masks, one might expect more variability, more individualistic expression. Instead, there is a recurring archetype, a standardized form that implies a shared understanding of what these beings look like. The existence of Valcamonicas astronauts, alongside thousands of other clearly identifiable human and animal figures from the same period, only amplifies their mystery. The artists were perfectly capable of rendering lifelike depictions when they chose to. Their decision to portray these particular figures in such a distinct, almost alien manner suggests they were observing something truly different, something that did not fit the common mold of their world. Were these images a desperate attempt to record the appearance of powerful visitors, beings whose technology and form were utterly beyond the understanding of the communion people, leading them to depict them as gods or beings from another realm? Further south, in the vast ancient lands of Egypt and Libya, within the formidable expanse of the Gilf Kabir Plateau, lies another site that challenges our perception of prehistory: the Cave of the Swimmers and its neighboring rock art sites in Wadi Sura. Discovered in 1933 by the Hungarian explorer Laszlo Almasi, these caves hold stunning paintings dating back to around 10 to 6000 BCE, a period when the now hyper-arid Sahara was a verdant savanna dotted with lakes and rivers. The most famous panel, in the Cave of the Swimmers, depicts human figures appearing to swim or float in water, an incredible detail given the cave's current desert location. This alone offers a powerful reminder of how dramatically Earth's climate and landscapes have changed. But beyond these remarkable depictions of ancient life, there are other figures that defy conventional interpretation. Among them are curious hybrid beings, often with elongated limbs and strange, almost ethereal forms. Some possess unusual head shapes, while others seem to wear masks or helmets that obscure their faces. Crucially, in Wadi Sura the Senkadu, a nearby cave discovered later, there are depictions that are even more provocative. These include figures with distinctively round, featureless heads, similar in many respects to the round head figures of Tassili N'Ajjer. But perhaps most astonishing is a particular panel depicting what appears to be a disc-shaped object floating in the sky, from which lines or beams descend, interacting with the figures below. This object bears a striking resemblance to what we would now recognize as a flying saucer or an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Official archaeology typically interprets these images as symbolic representations of water spirits or humans engaged in ritualistic dances, perhaps mimicking animals. The disc-shaped object is often dismissed as a stylized sun or moon or a purely abstract symbol. Yet, the context, The consistency of the form across different cultures and the uncanny resemblance to modern concepts of extraterrestrial craft make such dismissals feel increasingly inadequate. Is it purely coincidental that such a distinct shape associated with flight and beings from above appears in such an ancient context? The swimmers themselves, while often celebrated for their artistic quality, also pose a challenge. While they are undeniably human, their fluid, almost weightless poses and the suggestion of an aquatic environment that no longer exists could also be interpreted in a broader sense. What if these are not just literal swimmers, but a depiction of beings moving through a different medium or arriving from a place beyond the terrestrial? This is, of course, a speculative leap, but one invited by the presence of the truly anomalous images nearby. The figures with round heads in Wadi Sura 2, much like their Tassili counterparts, lack conventional human features. They are smooth, almost inorganic in their presentation. If these were human shamans, why would the artists go to such lengths to obscure or fundamentally alter their human visage? The deliberate choice to render these beings in such an unusual manner suggests they were not merely observing ordinary humans in masks, but something inherently different, something that warranted a distinct visual language. The juxtaposition of ordinary human figures and these strange, helmeted entities within the same artistic complex underscores the intentionality of this distinction. The convergence of these themes, round-headed beings, intricate garments, and disc-shaped objects, across sites as far-flung as Tassili Najjar, Val Camonica, and Wadi Sura, separated by thousands of kilometers and centuries, begins to weave a compelling pattern. It speaks not of isolated cultural eccentricities, but of a shared experience, a collective memory encoded in the rock art of humanity's distant past. The official explanations, while attempting to ground these images in known anthropological frameworks, often fail to address the core anomaly, the consistent portrayal of beings and objects that defy the technological and cultural parameters of the artist's own time. And what of the truly ancient lands of Australia, where the human story stretches back for at least 65,000 years? Here, on the Burrup Peninsula in Western Australia, within the Murujuga National Park, lies one of the largest and most concentrated collections of petroglyphs in the world, with estimates ranging from hundreds of thousands to over 1 million individual engravings. These ancient artworks, some believed to be over 40,000 years old, offer a unique glimpse into the spiritual and daily lives of the Aboriginal people. Among the staggering array of marine life, human figures, and mythological beings, there are particular engravings that have captivated researchers and fueled speculation about ancient visitors. These are the so-called star beings, or anthropomorphic figures with halos, which bear an astonishing resemblance to figures found on other continents, suggesting a universal archetype. These figures often possess oversized round or oval heads, sometimes featuring elaborate headdresses or what appear to be rayed halos emanating from them. Their bodies are frequently depicted with unusual proportions, some almost skeletal, others robust but with non-human characteristics. One prominent category of these figures is known locally as the Mimi, or Wandjina spirits, though the Burrup figures have their own distinct characteristics. While many are clearly ancestral spirits within Aboriginal cosmology, some of the very oldest engravings, often found on isolated rock faces, exhibit features that stand out. They are often depicted with a sense of movement or levitation, and their heads are strikingly large, sometimes with concentric circles or intricate patterns that resemble complex devices rather than simple adornment. The Aboriginal Dreamtime stories associated with these star beings often speak of beings who descended from the sky, bringing knowledge, culture, and laws to humanity. They are described as powerful, ethereal entities capable of great feats. While these stories are deeply embedded in spiritual belief, the question arises: could these myths and the ancient art that illustrates them be distant echoes of literal encounters? Could the star beings be the ancestral memory of visitors from above, beings who arrived in ancient times and left an indelible mark on the consciousness of the first Australians? Official archaeological interpretations typically explain these figures as ancestral spirits, totemic symbols, or powerful shamans in ceremonial attire. The halos are often attributed to stylized representations of spiritual energy or power. The unusual head shapes are considered artistic conventions to denote non-human or supernatural status. Yet, when confronted with the visual evidence, particularly the consistent depiction of rayed halos and large, often featureless heads, the explanation of mere symbolism seems to stretch the bounds of credulity. Why the consistent pattern of depicting these supernatural entities with features that so closely align with concepts of advanced technology or protective gear? The context of these Burra petroglyphs is also critical. They exist alongside thousands of other, more conventional engravings of animals, hunting scenes, and human activities. The artists were capable of rendering highly realistic and naturalistic forms when they chose to. Their conscious decision to portray these star beings in such a distinct and otherworldly manner suggests that they were attempting to communicate something fundamentally different about these entities. The sheer antiquity of some of these engravings, pushing back tens of thousands of years, places them firmly in a period when humanity's technological capabilities were rudimentary. The concept of beings arriving from the stars, possessing advanced knowledge, would have been utterly alien to their lived experience, unless it was precisely that, an observation. The narrative of these star beings is not confined to the Burra Peninsula. Across the vast continent of Australia, similar figures appear in various forms of Aboriginal art and oral traditions, reinforcing the notion of a continent-wide memory of celestial visitors. The sheer consistency of this theme, expressed through both visual art and spoken mythology, suggests a shared history that transcends localized interpretations. It prompts us to reconsider whether these are merely imaginative tales or the remnants of a very real, very profound interaction that shaped the spiritual and cultural foundations of one of the world's oldest continuous cultures. When we consider the collective weight of evidence from Tassili Najar, Val Camonica, Wadi Sura, and the Burrup Peninsula, a pattern begins to emerge, a mosaic of extraordinary depictions that challenge the established view of human history. These are not isolated anomalies. They are recurring motifs, themes, and figures that appear across vast geographical and temporal distances in cultures that had no known contact with each other. The consistency of these unusual portrayals, beings with round helmet-like heads, intricate suits, enigmatic objects resembling flying craft, and halos of energy, is too striking to be dismissed as mere coincidence or independent artistic invention. The official explanations, while valid within the confines of conventional archaeology, often feel strained when applied to these specific examples. To attribute every helmet-like head to a headdress, every geometric pattern to abstract symbolism, and every disc-shaped object to a stylized sun requires a significant degree of intellectual gymnastics, often ignoring the very direct and literal nature of many of these depictions. It often requires us to believe that ancient humans, with no scientific framework for space travel or advanced technology, somehow independently conceptualized and consistently depicted these specific forms as part of their ritualistic or mythological narratives. Is it not more parsimonious, more intellectually honest, to consider the possibility that these ancient artists were not merely inventing, but observing, that they were not simply dreaming, but documenting, that they were recording encounters with beings and technologies that were utterly foreign to their world, beings who came from the sky, from the stars, leaving an indelible impression on the consciousness of our distant ancestors? The notion of ancient alien visitors is often dismissed as pseudoscience, yet when confronted with the raw, tangible evidence etched into the very fabric of our planet, the dismissal seems less like objective analysis and more like a refusal to consider uncomfortable truths. These ancient artworks compel us to ask uncomfortable questions about our origins, about the true timeline of human development, and about our place in the cosmos. They suggest a profound interaction in humanity's distant past, an interaction that seeded our myths, shaped our earliest art, and perhaps even influenced the very trajectory of our civilization. The evidence is there, etched in stone, painted on cave walls, waiting for us to shed our preconceptions and truly see what our ancestors intended to show us. They speak of a time when the boundary between myth and reality was blurred, when the heavens were not just distant lights, but pathways for visitors from beyond. And the story, in stone and pigment, is only just beginning to reveal itself. The story, in stone and pigment, is only just beginning to reveal itself. We must continue our journey across continents, seeking out more of these perplexing visual narratives that defy the tidy explanations offered by mainstream archaeology. Our path now leads us to the vast arid plateaus of Peru, to a desolate landscape etched with monumental drawings that span hundreds of square miles, the Nazca Lines. These geoglyphs, created by the ancient Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, are unlike anything else on Earth. They are not paintings or carvings in caves, but colossal designs scraped into the desert floor, so immense that their true forms can only be fully appreciated from the air. Imagine the sheer audacity of this artistic endeavor. Figures of hummingbirds, spiders, monkeys, fish, lizards, and intricate geometric patterns, all rendered with astonishing precision on a scale that dwarfs human perception from the ground. What compelled a culture, seemingly devoid of any aerial technology, to create such an elaborate gallery that could only be viewed from an impossible vantage point? How did they achieve such perfect symmetry, such straight lines stretching for miles, such accurate proportions without the benefit of an overhead perspective? The official explanation suggests the Nazca people used rudimentary surveying techniques, ropes and stakes, perhaps even hot air balloons made of local materials. Yet, even if we accept these explanations, a fundamental question persists. Why? Why expend such colossal effort on art that was, for all intents and purposes, invisible to its creators and to their gods, unless those gods themselves or someone else observed from above? Was this a message intended for the sky dwellers? Was it a landing strip, or an elaborate directional guide for those who navigated the heavens? The sheer scale, the incredible precision, and the unique orientation of the Nazca Lines strongly suggest an external influence, or at the very least, an understanding of aerial perspective that should have been utterly alien to the time. Consider the human-like figures among the Nazca geoglyphs, often referred to as the astronaut or the owl man. These large, stylized beings possess disproportionately wide, staring eyes, and sometimes peculiar head coverings that resemble helmets. While archaeologists typically categorize them as shamans or mythical beings, their singular appearance, particularly when viewed alongside the perfect lines and geometric shapes, begs a deeper inquiry. If these were simply ritual figures, why were they designed to be seen only from the sky, alongside animals and symbols whose meaning is still debated? Could these astronauts represent the very beings who inspired the creation of the lines, or perhaps even guided their construction? The official narrative struggles to reconcile the immense effort and the unique viewing requirement with the known capabilities and cultural practices of the Nazca people. It asks us to believe in a people who labored for generations on an art form they could never truly see, for reasons that remain profoundly obscure within conventional historical frameworks. Our odyssey continues southward into the highlands of Bolivia, to the enigmatic ruins of Tiwanaku and its even more baffling neighbor, Puma Punku. While not strictly art in the traditional sense of paintings or carvings, the incredibly precise stonework and the monumental scale of these sites represent an unparalleled form of ancient craftsmanship, a silent testament to a knowledge that far surpasses what is attributed to the cultures of the Andean past. Dating back possibly as far as 1500 BCE, though some theories push its origins back significantly further, Tiwanaku was once a thriving metropolis. Its true marvel, however, lies in Puma Punku, a complex of ruined structures near Tiwanaku, where massive, intricately cut stones weighing up to 130 tons lie scattered like a child's discarded blocks. These aren't just large stones, they are megalithic blocks of diorite and andesite, some of the hardest materials on Earth, carved with such incredible precision that they exhibit perfect right angles, incredibly smooth surfaces, and intricate interlocking L shapes and I shapes that defy known ancient cutting technologies. The stone blocks at Pumapunku possess drill holes, countersinks, and perfectly flat faces that suggest the use of advanced machinery, tools capable of cutting and polishing stone with a precision that rivals modern laser technology. How could a civilization, reportedly lacking the wheel, iron tools, or even a writing system at this early stage, achieve such engineering feats? How were these colossal blocks transported from quarries many miles away and then shaped with such meticulous detail? The interlocking mechanism of the blocks, designed to resist earthquakes, speaks of an architectural understanding far beyond simple dry stone masonry. It is as if the builders possessed a blueprint, a technology, and a workforce utterly foreign to the official timeline of human development in the Andes. Were these complex structures designed purely by human ingenuity, born from rudimentary tools and sheer perseverance, or do they hint at the involvement of something or someone with a dramatically superior technological capability, perhaps even visitors who shared or demonstrated such knowledge? The very stones whisper of a lost art, a forgotten science, or an inherited wisdom. As we journey further back in time and across oceans, we find ourselves on the ancient island nation of Japan, where a distinct and equally perplexing artistic tradition flourished during the Jomon period, which dates back an astonishing 10,000 to 300 BCE. Among the most iconic artifacts of this era are the dog figurines, small anthropomorphic or zoomorphic clay statues whose forms range from simple to extraordinarily elaborate. While often interpreted as fertility goddesses or ritual objects, a particular subset of these dog figures presents an appearance that is strikingly unusual and resonates with themes we have already explored. These figures, particularly those from the late Jomon period, feature large, round, often goggle-like eyes, small mouths, and elaborate, often segmented bodies that appear to be adorned with complex suits or armor. Some wear helmet-like head coverings, complete with protrusions or antenna-like features. The distinctive eye coverings, sometimes likened to modern-day goggles or even visors, along with the seemingly insulated or armored bodies, have led many to question the conventional interpretations. If these were simply representations of human figures or deities, why such a consistent and unusual depiction that appears so distinctly non-human, or at the very least, garbed in attire that suggests protection from an alien environment? The sheer consistency of these features across various dog examples from different Jomon sites is remarkable. Were these the artistic expressions of spiritual beliefs, or were they attempts to faithfully reproduce what the Jomon people witnessed? Could these figures be representations of individuals wearing sophisticated suits, perhaps for space travel or protection from atmospheric conditions, beings who interacted with the ancient Japanese? The official explanations, while rooted in cultural context, often struggle to fully account for the extraordinary visual similarity to modern concepts of extraterrestrial beings or astronauts. The dog figures stand as silent sentinels, echoing a profound mystery from humanity's deep past, compelling us to consider whether they are mythical beings or something far more tangible and otherworldly. Let us now cast our gaze towards the vast and diverse continent of India, a land steeped in ancient lore, profound philosophy, and epic narratives that stretch back into the mists of time. Here, within the voluminous Sanskrit texts, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana, we encounter descriptions of flying machines known as vimanas. These ancient Sanskrit accounts, dating back thousands of years, speak not merely of crude flying contraptions, but of advanced aerial vehicles capable of interstellar travel, powered by exotic fuels, and possessing capabilities that defy the understanding of their supposed historical context. The descriptions are remarkably detailed, speaking of different shapes, sizes, and functions, some even resembling modern rockets or saucer-shaped craft. While these are primarily textual records, their existence raises a profound question. Where did such sophisticated concepts originate in an era when human flight was utterly inconceivable? Beyond the literary accounts, Tantalizing hints appear in the rich tapestry of Indian temple carvings and sculptures. In temples such as those at Konark, Mahabalipuram, or Ellora, among countless others, one can find intricate carvings depicting gods, goddesses, and celestial beings, often in poses or contexts that suggest aerial movement or advanced technology. While many are interpreted as purely mythological, certain depictions stand out. There are carvings that show figures seemingly piloting strange craft, or deities arriving from the sky in what appear to be elaborate, multi-tiered vehicles. Are these simply allegorical representations of divine power, or do they reflect a memory, however distorted by time and interpretation, of real occurrences? The sheer prevalence of sky gods, flying chariots, and celestial battles in Indian mythology, combined with the detailed descriptions of Vimanas in the texts, creates a compelling narrative. It suggests a deeply ingrained cultural memory of beings who traverse the skies, bringing with them knowledge, conflict, and a profound impact on human civilization. The art and texts of India do not merely hint at such possibilities, they boldly proclaim them, inviting us to look beyond the veil of conventional history and consider a more expansive truth. Our exploration would be incomplete without a brief yet significant detour to the ancient Near East, specifically the region of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Here, among the ruins of Sumer, Akkad, Assyria, and Babylon, we find some of humanity's earliest complex societies, responsible for the invention of writing, monumental architecture, and advanced astronomical observations. The cylinder seals, stelae, and relief carvings from this region, dating back 5,000 to 6,000 years, are a treasure trove of information about their cosmology, their gods, and their perception of the world. What is particularly compelling are the depictions of their deities, often referred to as the Anunnaki in Sumerian texts. These beings are frequently portrayed with unusual headwear, sometimes described as helmets, and possess winged backs or seem to descend from the heavens. More controversially, some Sumerian and Babylonian art depicts figures that resemble modern rockets or celestial objects with wings, and even what some interpret as astronomical charts, showing an understanding of our solar system that far predates conventional historical timelines. The birdman figures, the fish-clad oans, and the winged discs associated with deities like Ashur or Shamash all hint at a connection to the sky, to advanced flight, or to beings who arrived from above. While academic interpretations invariably link these to religious symbolism and natural phenomena, the consistency of these motifs, combined with the incredibly detailed and sophisticated astronomical knowledge possessed by the Mesopotamians, encourages a different line of questioning. How did these ancient cultures gain such precise knowledge of celestial mechanics, and why did their most powerful deities so often manifest with attributes of flight or celestial origin? Could the Anunnaki, translated by some as those who from heaven to earth came, have been more than mere mythical constructs? Could they have been the very visitors who inspired not only their art, but also their prodigious advancements in mathematics, astronomy, and societal organization? The echoes of their presence are etched into the very foundations of human civilization. Returning to a more abstract, yet profoundly significant form of artistic expression, we must revisit the concept of petroglyphs and pictographs globally to examine a recurring motif that transcends geographical and cultural boundaries: the spiral. From the Ebat megalithic art of Newgrange in Ireland, dating back over 5,000 years, to the rock art of the American Southwest, to the ancient engravings of Australia and South America, the spiral appears with remarkable frequency. It is a symbol of cosmic energy, eternity, spiritual journey, and perhaps even a depiction of something far more literal. While often explained as a representation of water, wind, or the sun's path, its omnipresence and occasional intricate forms, sometimes alongside more overtly anomalous figures, prompt a deeper look. Could the spiral, in some contexts, represent not just abstract concepts, but the swirling energy or trajectories of craft descending from the heavens? Is it a universal memory of something seen, something experienced across the globe, long before our current understanding of physics and flight? The commonality of this fundamental symbol across unconnected cultures, cultures that also share other unexplained motifs, is itself a mystery. The sheer volume and diversity of these artistic anomalies compel us to reevaluate our historical narratives. We are not speaking of isolated incidents or localized myths, but a global tapestry of consistent, perplexing imagery. From the helmeted beings of the Tassili Najar in the Sahara, to the star people of the Aboriginal Dreamtime, from the astronauts of Val Camonica to the enigmatic Nazca lines, from the flying machines of ancient India to the advanced stonework of Puma Punku, and from the goggle-eyed dog of Japan to the celestial deities of Mesopotamia, the message remains startlingly similar. These ancient artists, working independently across continents and millennia, seem to be telling a remarkably cohesive story. They are depicting beings that arrive from the sky, beings with unusual features or wearing peculiar suits, and technologies that are utterly inconsistent with the historical context of their time. The official explanations, while attempting to remain grounded in known human capabilities and cultural evolution, consistently stumble over these widespread and persistent anomalies. They ask us to believe in a series of extraordinary coincidences, of independent conceptualizations that just happen to align on themes of visitors from the sky and advanced technology. They suggest parallel evolutions of myth that coincidentally produce strikingly similar visual forms. But how many coincidences must accumulate before they coalesce into a pattern, a compelling argument for a shared truth? How many times must we dismiss the visual evidence, the direct testimony of our ancestors in stone and pigment, before we acknowledge that our understanding of their world, and indeed our own origins, might be fundamentally flawed? This enduring artistic legacy forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Did advanced extraterrestrial civilizations visit Earth in humanity's distant past? Did they interact with our ancestors, sharing knowledge, perhaps even influencing our genetic or cultural development? Were they revered as gods, their technologies misinterpreted as magic, their forms etched into the very bedrock of our early mythologies and artistic expressions? The art, in its raw, unfiltered honesty, predates written history, predates the biases of later interpretations. It is a direct glimpse into the mind of early humanity, a record of what they saw, what they believed, and what they experienced. The implications of accepting this possibility are vast and profound. It would not only rewrite the timeline of human technological and cultural evolution, but would also fundamentally alter our perception of our place in the cosmos. We would no longer be a solitary species, stumbling through the vastness of space in isolation, but a species with a lineage intertwined with cosmic visitors, a legacy shaped by interactions that seeded our earliest civilizations and perhaps left us a hidden inheritance. The art is not just a collection of pretty pictures. It is a meticulously documented global archive, an insistent whisper from the past, urging us to look closer, to question more deeply, and to prepare for a truth that is both exhilarating and unsettling. The images are there, patiently waiting for us to shed the dogma of conventional thinking, to open our minds to the extraordinary, and to finally comprehend the message our ancestors risked everything to preserve, that we are not alone and we never have been. This silent testimony, etched in the very bones of our planet, demands our attention, challenges our assumptions, and offers a tantalizing glimpse into a history far grander and far more mysterious than we have ever dared to imagine. Yet, this vast archive, this collection of silent testimonies, stretches far beyond the isolated instances we have touched upon, echoing across continents and millennia, each piece a fragment of a greater, more bewildering mosaic. Consider the bewildering enigma of Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey, a site that fundamentally rewrites our understanding of early human civilization. Discovered in the mid-1990s, this monumental complex of massive, intricately carved stone pillars predates Stonehenge by some 6,000 years, and the invention of pottery, writing, and even agriculture itself by millennia. Here, circles of towering T-shaped megaliths, some weighing over 20 tons, stand erected, adorned with sophisticated bas-reliefs depicting a menagerie of animals, foxes, snakes, boars, cranes, all rendered with astonishing realism and artistic skill. The very existence of Göbekli Tepe challenges the long-held archaeological dogma that complex monumental architecture only arises from settled agricultural societies. How could hunter-gatherers living in a nomadic existence muster the organizational capacity, the engineering prowess, and the sheer manpower to quarry, transport, and precisely erect these colossal stones? The level of planning, the understanding of materials, and the artistic expression displayed here are utterly inconsistent with what we conventionally attribute to a society of 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. Who taught them? Who inspired them to undertake such a monumental task, constructing a sacred site that seems to have been deliberately buried after centuries of use, as if to preserve a secret for future generations? The official narrative struggles to reconcile the sophistication of Göbekli Tepe with the supposed primitive capabilities of its builders, leaving a gaping void in our understanding of prehistory. The carvings themselves add another layer of profound mystery. Alongside the familiar animal motifs, there are enigmatic abstract symbols and strange, almost humanoid figures that are difficult to categorize. What do these symbols represent to a people so far removed from our own? Are they merely artistic expressions, or do they convey a complex narrative, a codified message from an ancient past? Some interpret these carvings, particularly the recurring depiction of bags or purses held by certain figures, as symbolic of knowledge or a shared heritage, a motif that strangely reappears in other ancient cultures across the globe, separated by vast distances and epochs. Could Göbekli Tepe have been a knowledge transfer center, a place where a profound understanding of the cosmos or advanced building techniques was imparted to early humans by an external influence? The questions linger, unsettling the bedrock of established history. Journeying across the globe to the arid plateaus of Peru, we encounter another astonishing testament to ancient ingenuity and a profound riddle: the Nazca Lines. Etched into the desert floor across hundreds of square miles, these colossal geoglyphs, created by removing dark stones to reveal lighter soil beneath, depict an astonishing array of figures: hummingbirds with wingspans of hundreds of feet, spiders, monkeys, pelicans, fish, and intricate geometric patterns. Dating primarily from 500 BCE to 500 CE, these immense works of art are often only fully discernible from a significant altitude, making their creation a profound mystery for a culture that purportedly lacked the ability for aerial observation. The precision and scale of the Nazca Lines are baffling. How did the ancient Nazca people achieve such perfect straight lines, some stretching for miles, or the intricate curves and proportions of their animal figures, without the benefit of hot air balloons, gliders, or any other means of surveying from above? The sheer meticulousness required to transpose small-scale drawings onto a monumental landscape, maintaining proportion and accuracy, suggests a level of surveying skill that far exceeds conventional archaeological explanations. Were these land art pieces meant as religious offerings, pathways for rituals, or astronomical calendars? While these explanations are offered, they do not fully account for the central paradox: why create art that cannot be truly appreciated by its creators from their earthly vantage point? Perhaps the most compelling argument for an alternative interpretation of the Nazca Lines comes from certain figures themselves. Among the zoomorphic and geometric designs, there is a recurring motif known as the astronaut, or the owl man, a large, wide-eyed figure with a round head, often depicted with what appears to be a halo or helmet waving to the sky. Could this not be a depiction of an earthbound human, but rather a representation of a being observed from above, or even a self-portrait by a being capable of flight? Were these vast enigmatic drawings intended as signals, as markers, or as a form of communication directed not to other humans on the ground, but to entities in the skies above, to those who could truly appreciate their grand design from their celestial chariots? The desert floor holds its secrets silently, etched into the very landscape, a persistent question mark aimed at the heavens. Moving eastward to the islands of Japan, we uncover another category of enigmatic art, the Jomon period dog figurines. These ancient clay effigies, dating back as far as 10,000 to 300 BCE, stand in stark contrast to the usual depictions of human or animal forms found in other prehistoric cultures. Many dog figures feature exaggerated goggle-like eyes, small mouths, intricate segmented patterns on their bodies that resemble modern protective suits, and elaborate helmet-like headgear. Some even possess what appears to be breathing apparatus or hoses connected to their faces. Their forms are often rotund, almost bulbous, and many have slender limbs. Conventional explanations suggest these figures are fertility symbols, shamanistic representations, or ritualistic guardians. Yet, the striking similarities between certain dog figures, particularly those with the distinctive snow goggles or space helmets, and the imagery of modern astronauts or deep-sea divers, are profoundly unsettling. Why would a prehistoric culture isolated on islands consistently depict beings with such peculiar, unearthly attributes, often adorned with what appears to be protective clothing unsuitable for the Jomon climate? Could these not be mere abstract representations, but rather attempts by ancient artists to render an accurate portrayal of beings they genuinely encountered, beings whose appearance required special interpretation through the lens of their own limited technological understanding? The consistent motifs across various dog examples, separated by hundreds of miles and centuries, suggest a shared cultural memory of something extraordinary. Were these figures created to honor visitors from another world, beings whose arrival left an indelible impression on the early inhabitants of Japan? The formal, almost rigid posture of many dog, the unusual proportions, and the emphasis on eye protection and headgear compel us to look beyond simple religious symbolism. They invite us to consider the possibility that these are not myths made manifest, but rather visual testimonies to a real, albeit deeply mysterious, encounter between early humanity and visitors equipped with technology far beyond their own comprehension, compelling them to create these strange, enduring sculptures. Across the Mediterranean, in the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, stands the ancient Roman temple complex of Baalbek, a site whose colossal scale and engineering defy easy explanation. While the Roman temples themselves are magnificent, the true enigma lies beneath their foundations in the platform upon which they are built. Here, embedded within the ancient bedrock, lie the remnants of an even older structure, composed of some of the largest cut stones ever used in construction. Among them is the famed trilithon, a trio of megalithic blocks, each weighing approximately 800 tons, the equivalent of over 1,000 average-sized cars. Nearby in the quarry lies the stone of the pregnant woman, an even larger block estimated at over 1,000 tons, still partially attached to the bedrock. The precision with which these massive stones were cut, shaped, and then maneuvered into place, sometimes elevated 20 feet above the ground, remains an archaeological puzzle. How did a culture, even one as advanced as the Romans, who used cranes and sophisticated techniques, manage to quarry, transport, and accurately position such unfathomable weights? The sheer logistical challenge, even with modern heavy machinery, would be immense. The cuts are too clean, the placement too perfect for the crude tools and methods generally attributed to ancient peoples. Was this an endeavor of sheer human will and brute force pushed to unimaginable limits? Or does it hint at a lost technology, a forgotten understanding of physics and engineering that allowed these colossal feats to be achieved with comparative ease? The mystery deepens when we consider the local legends surrounding Baalbek, which speak of giants or even gods building the platform. These myths are often dismissed as fanciful tales, yet they persist, offering an alternative narrative to the official one that struggles to provide a coherent explanation for the megalithic foundations. Could these oral traditions be faint echoes of a time when the builders were indeed gods in the eyes of early humanity, beings possessing the means to manipulate stone with such power and precision that it appeared magical? The immense scale and inexplicable engineering of Baalbek serve as a monument not just to ancient builders, but to the enduring questions about how such structures came into being, challenging our understanding of what was truly possible in the distant past. Further south, scattered across the Diquas Delta of Costa Rica, lie hundreds of perfectly spherical stone balls, ranging in size from a few centimeters to over 8 feet in diameter and weighing up to 16 tons. Discovered primarily in the 1930s by United Fruit, company workers clearing jungle for banana plantations, these enigmatic spheres, known as the stone spheres of Costa Rica, have baffled archaeologists for decades. Their precise age is debated, but they are generally attributed to the Diquis culture, dating from 200 BCE to 800 CE, although some estimates place them much older. The most astonishing aspect of these stones is their near-perfect spherical geometry. Analysis has shown that many possess a sphericity deviation of less than 1 inch. How a pre-Columbian civilization, presumably without advanced tools or a detailed understanding of geometry, managed to sculpt such flawless spheres from hard volcanic rock is a profound mystery. There is no clear evidence of the tools or methods used, nor is there any definitive explanation for their purpose. Were they astronomical markers, status symbols, or purely decorative objects? The effort involved in creating even one of these large, perfectly rounded stones would have been immense, suggesting a significance that transcends simple decoration. The precision, the scale, and the sheer number of these spheres speak of a culture with an unusual obsession with perfect geometry and an unknown method for achieving it. Could these spherical stones be a form of ancient art, a message carved in stone, left behind by a culture that either possessed an advanced understanding of mathematics and engineering, or was perhaps inspired by, or even assisted by, those who did? They represent another compelling piece of the global puzzle, a silent testament to capabilities that far exceed the conventional historical narrative, inviting us to contemplate the possibility of lost knowledge or extraordinary external influence in shaping the most ancient aspects of our world. These disparate examples, the impossible sophistication of Göbekli Tepe, the sky-oriented art of Nazca, the goggle-eyed Doge figures, the megalithic foundations of Baalbek, and the perfect spheres of Costa Rica, are not isolated anomalies. They are threads in a vast global tapestry of the unexplained, each piece resonating with the others, collectively forming a compelling, if unsettling, narrative. This narrative suggests that our ancient ancestors, in their purest and most unfiltered artistic expressions, were recording something extraordinary, something that transcended their immediate earthly existence. They were documenting encounters, observations, and perhaps even instructions from beings that arrived from beyond the confines of our planet. The conventional explanations, while attempting to ground these phenomena in human ingenuity and cultural symbolism, often fall short, leaving too many questions unanswered, too many paradoxes unresolved. The precision, the scale, the inexplicable technology implied, and the consistent themes of sky beings or advanced knowledge appearing in societies supposedly primitive demand a more expansive consideration. Could it be that what we dismiss as mythology, as mere fanciful tales or abstract art, is in fact a historical record, painstakingly preserved across generations, a visual language describing a time when humanity was not alone, a time when our evolutionary path was perhaps guided, our knowledge seeded, and our earliest civilizations inspired by visitors from the stars? The art, in its rawest form, unburdened by later interpretations or religious dogma, speaks with an insistent voice across the millennia. It challenges us to shed our intellectual conservatism, to expand our understanding of what constitutes history, and to courageously confront the possibility that the foundation of human civilization is far more complex, far more interconnected with the cosmos than we have ever dared to admit. These ancient carvings, structures, and figures are not just relics of the past, they are persistent invitations to rethink our origins, to reevaluate our place in the universe, and to finally acknowledge the profound implications of a truth that has been patiently waiting for us to rediscover it, etched in stone and clay for over 10,000 years. The message is clear. if only we have the courage to truly see it. A profound silence hangs over these ancient sites, broken only by the whispers of the wind, carrying echoes of a time when the world was filled with marvels we now struggle to comprehend. What compelled these diverse peoples, separated by oceans and vast expanses of land, to record such remarkably similar imagery? Was it a shared primordial dream, a collective unconscious vision that transcended geographical boundaries? Or was it something far more tangible, a series of encounters that left an indelible mark on their nascent cultures, guiding their hands as they meticulously chiseled and painted their experiences for posterity? The very act of creation, in such remote and often unforgiving environments, speaks to the immense importance these visions held. They were not merely passing observations, but fundamental truths that demanded to be preserved, to be passed down through generations, even if their original context and meaning slowly eroded into myth. Consider the implications if we were to accept these depictions at face value. If the sky beings were indeed literal visitors, if the chariots of fire were advanced craft, and if the gods who imparted knowledge were technologically superior beings from another world, then the entire timeline of human development must be reevaluated. Our understanding of the agricultural revolution, the sudden rise of complex urban centers, the inexplicable leaps in astronomical knowledge, and the construction of monumental architecture that defy primitive tooling all acquire a new and startling context. The official story paints a picture of gradual incremental progress driven by human ingenuity alone, often punctuated by a few unexplained genius moments. But what if those moments were not entirely self-generated? What if humanity received a catalyst, a spark from an external source? The persistent patterns within this global art suggest a deliberate attempt to convey information, not just abstract spirituality. The consistent depiction of beings with distinct features, large, often rounded heads, oversized eyes, slender bodies, or encased in what appear to be suits or helmets, goes beyond simple anthropomorphism or stylized representation. These are not just fanciful monsters from the subconscious. They are highly specific forms, often depicted with accompanying symbols that resemble technological apparatus, glowing orbs, strange vehicles, rayed beams of light. Why would so many disparate cultures invent the same visual language for their most profound experiences? The mathematical probability of such widespread, independent convergence on these specific motifs without a common external stimulus strains credulity. This art forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about our own intellectual arrogance. Are we so certain of our isolation in the cosmos that we refuse to consider evidence that suggests otherwise, merely because it challenges our established paradigms? Is it truly more plausible that every ancient culture independently conceived of humanoid figures arriving from the sky in strange craft, wearing protective gear, and possessing advanced knowledge, rather than entertaining the possibility of a shared, real-world encounter? The resistance to this interpretation often stems from a fear of destabilizing fundamental beliefs, a reluctance to shatter the comfortable illusion of human uniqueness and supremacy within the universe. Yet, the message encoded in these ancient artworks is not one of fear, but of wonder and possibility. It speaks of a universe far richer, far more interconnected than our current scientific models often allow. It suggests that the boundaries we perceive between myth and history, between spirituality and science, are far more fluid than we imagine. These ancestors, whose lives were intrinsically woven into the fabric of the natural world, possessed a clarity of observation and unfiltered honesty in their artistic expression that we, with our modern biases and preconceived notions, often lack. They recorded what they saw, what they experienced, and what they believed to be true about the cosmic order. Their legacy, preserved on the enduring canvases of rock and cave, whispers a profound secret. Humanity's journey is not a solitary one. It is a narrative intertwined with the larger cosmic drama, a story that spans not just continents, but galaxies. To ignore this evidence, to dismiss it as mere superstition or primitive imagination, is to deny a part of our shared heritage, to close our eyes to a deeper truth about our place in the universe. The silent guardians etched in stone stand as eternal witnesses, patiently waiting for us to finally decode their message, to understand that the story of humanity began not just on Earth, but among the stars. The universe has been speaking to us for millennia. Perhaps now it is time we truly listened to its ancient, compelling whispers.